me and Julia, we are endorphins, and we are just like manufacturing synthesizers. And we have here is like 84 HP modular system. It's like a full row of our products, and so we just maybe, I don't know if you are in touch into them or you just saw our products before, so we can just even maybe just like even repatch everything, so make it just like a very standard patch and go straight one by one afterwards, so we can have a like an overview of almost every product, so how it goes on. Yeah.
How they interact between each other.
What?
How they interact between each other.
Oh yeah. So what starts and we've been afterwards. Before it was in Linz, in Austria, and afterwards we played in Vienna in the Recrash Festival. And so and even just like it was a pretty difficult performance, because Julia played all the modular stuff, I played some synthesizer with the chords and pads, and only now after all the time we just realized how how interesting it is to perform music, to perform like an artist. So as right now we see how we just see the perfect performance for us too. It's like we have like two bit systems and we have two iPads. Each system has an iPad, and we just have a small like backpack. Everything just like fits, two systems like fit together to the backpack. It's like 84 centimeters in length. So everything is like in. We just take any cheap flights or like low cost flights, and everything just like you can put it into the hand baggage. So it's like exactly like half meter length. So you don't need to just like pay extra for all the baggage. So it goes like a cabin baggage, not like a checked baggage. Also, yeah. So we have like iPads. So and what does actually iPad do? Is iPad does all the sequencing, and it also delivers the drums. So we just use the pattern and drum machine, which is actually one of the like best app of the recent year for making drums, and which is pretty creative too as well. And we have the step polyarm, which is actually based like a simple arpeggiator, so you can just like draw different notes and you can scale them instantly and so on and so on. You play some kind of sequences. And with the shadow control, we can connect any keyboard. We just had a, I don't know, Z1, a Kai, or you can just connect like OP1 here, and just it gives all the clock. And for example, here is connected directly with the micro USB. Here it is like a few holes. So what we have here is like it's like device, USB device, and USB host. So basically, maybe just like start from the system. So it's 5 modules in a row. So that is called shuttle control, and there are 16 CD outputs. So basically, we can assign every output to whenever we wish. So we can assign to any MIDI event. For example, if you just play drums, and you just play drums, you just play. For example, you have a like a dance MIDI channel. You play, for example, it's like bass drum on C1 all the time, and bass drum and snare drum, for example, on D2, and you can just assign C1 trigger goes to the bass drum, and you just can assign different triggers and a set of triggers and a set of velocities. And so you can actually have a row of, for example, like tip-top drum modules or hex inverter or anyway, and you just can clock them directly, just put them into all the drum modules triggers, and with velocity you can play some severe variations, or like accent or snappiness of the snare drum and something like that. So what is interesting about the shadow control is also like a power source, so it's just everything is powered with a small brick, and there is a flying bus board, so everything is just everything powered inside, so you don't need any extra power supply, any transformer, big PSU. So yeah, so it's pretty small actually. Yeah. Let's see how how we do that. So in how we in any MIDI app, in any drum machine, in every kind of app or an iPad or in a PC or Mac, there is the settings that define kind of MIDI settings. So how to output, and actually in every MIDI setup. So you just like enter the MIDI setup. You first connect the shuttle to it and just go to the MIDI setup, and there are some kind of checkboxes, just like send MIDI clock, for example, to shuttle control. And we have another app that is sequencer, so it's just like the drum machine clocks together the shuttle and arpeggiator. So, and every time we just press the start and stop. So let's if you see, so just like we just press start, and that jack is actually assigned to our start stop. So, and for every drum machine, I mean just like vintage drum machine like Roland TR 909 or something like that, they have a small like MIDI DIN jacks. So, and like 5 pins, like exactly like MIDI jacks, but they are not MIDI jacks, they are like, it's called like DIN sync. It's basically not like a high standard, like a wide standard. However, at some point at that years it was used as a standard, so there was only like 2 pins and the ground, so it's basically 3 pins. So one pin is actually when it's high, when it's like 5 plus 5 volts, so the drum machine automatically starts to play. And another pin is basically a clock, so when you just like give it a clock, it just like starts to play with its speed of the clock, so it just like shifts to any other step. And so yeah, so the clock should be divided, or it should be like usually it's called like PPQM, so it's like per quarter, something like that. And so, but depending on the drum machine, so you just like, and depending on different sequencers, what clock is usually resolution. So depends on the digital audio workstation as well. However, what is basically like a more or less like standard, with every drum machine like returns a clock which is equal to like 24 ppqm, which is based around like, it's like 24 ppqm. So by each quarter gives exactly 24 ticks. And actually, so what is assigned to the jack is actually the 24 ticks are divided by 24. So we get only 1 tick per quarter, and it's exactly the same as a flat bass drum goes here. So if we start here, so we just see that clock here from the drum machine, it is exactly like triggered from the shuttle control, from the drum sequencer, it returns clock, and here is the start and stop. So it's like a universal, so it's more or less like a really versatile tool, so just like to connect all the any rhythm devices and so on. So with the electron we have a bit different solution, so because people wanted also just like to connect electrons and MIDI keyboards as well. So we have like a small expansion for the unit. It's also like we don't have it right now here, but it's pretty tiny, and it's actually, so it costs us something like less than 100 euro. So it's like a MIDI merger, so you can connect electrons with MIDI clock, and you can chain electrons in a with like one electron is a master, and all the electrons are in a MIDI chain, so they are like slaves when you receive clock from it. And you also can play simultaneously some MIDI keyboard, and everything goes into shuttle control, and you simultaneously record, for example, everything into the iPad or Mac or PC, because there is also a possibility like to have a bidirectional MIDI through from USB device, so from MIDI keyboard into USB, from USB host to USB device, and vice versa. So you can play MIDI keyboard, play CD here, generate CD here, everything is alright. However, the signal will be also goes to the MIDI input into the iPad, for example, or Mac, or Ableton Live, for example, like running connect to the Mac or PC. And you can just enable record on MIDI track, so you can record everything, all that MIDI stuff immediately. the oscillator recreates kind of a West Coast approach in sound design. West Coast means that you just don't need lots of oscillators and a cool filter, so you just have to do one oscillator and modulate it in different types, in different ways. So how you can do that. And let's see, just let's listen. So we just have only here. So we have a modulator and carrier. And the modulator is basically the one that shapes carrier. So it's like like the modulator itself, it's like a control voltage. So we can just it shapes all the parameters and just excites the carrier by different types of modulations. So and of course we have different kind of symbol like a sine wave, like a sawtooth, square wave with adjustable pulse widths. In the signal, the order recreates so how high or how low the order of the harmonics is. So is it like very high, or is it like the only low range of the harmonics, or is it like a high or like a full range? And the further means like the knob that defines how saturated all the changes are. So, and because if the low order, so we have more or less like a wave folder like effects, and if we just have it like in high order, so we have almost like the square wave that is created by the folder, but we have completely different square waves that it has very sharp edges, so it gives exactly the high order harmonics. And with the symmetry, we can also gives the presence of, if it's only like more or less like even harmonics that are actually that are very pleasant for ears, or there are some kind of odd harmonics that are a bit like cold, like a wooden, that harsh, crispy. Yeah, thank you. So it's and exactly the combination of mixing that harmonics, so and finding your famous or your own sweet spots is it defines it there. So you can actually get almost like infinite amounts of different timbres that suit to complete any situation, and actually so yeah. And there is also a so-called sync. So we have here, so there is a hard and soft sync. I don't know, it was almost no oscillators except the maybe IntelliJ, the last ones. And which we have soft sync, it's reversing sync. So at every point when the oscillators goes to the threshold of a sync, so it gives a restarting waveform. And hard sync is usually the sync that is found on many Moog synthesizers, even from the first, it's just like the restarting of the waveform, and it is more harsh. So even with the sync, so even the ordinary saw wave, for example, we have ordinary saw wave, so it's nothing interesting into it, and it immediately becomes sound more or less like a sawtooth. So it adds lots of harmony. So, and it's also completely unpredictable because we have two different oscillators and different frequencies. So it's also difficult to tell what can be generated. So it's a bit unpredictable, yeah. So the idea of the West Coast synthesis is we don't have lots of oscillators for the fat sound, and afterwards we cut them and get some kind of stuff. So the idea is like we have like one oscillator and we have different types of modulations instead. So it's pretty interesting from academic point of view. It's completely opens actually the whole different approach of making music. And and what we have here, like, let's see, so we have different type of modulations. So the mood index defines, it's called like modulation index. It's the amount of influence how one oscillator will, how deep it will modulate another. So when it is off, and we have, for example, the very first one is the modulation of the wave shaper. So when we just using like a very small aliphobe, using the aliphobe, and we just try to increase the amount. Then we can have some kind of odd harmonics increase. And actually everything is in the, all the rest frequencies is like in harmonical content. So it's in modular synthesizer it's pretty difficult just like to get that exact values of frequencies. So the result is always just like not exactly like clear and beautiful like big synthesizers. However, lots of tricks possible to do that. And it's pretty interesting just like to have like more or less like a modular FM synthesizer, because we have more or less like two oscillators and we can consider them like operators. So we have like two operator FM and we can just have oscillator can go into the input, to the CD input, and there is an easy like feed oscillation that's called cross modulation. So we just go the output of the output goes to the input of another oscillator. So it gives like unpredictable results. So afterwards we have amplitude modulation, which is sounds like it's like an ECA, but it's a high range, different, and each filter has its own harmonics saturation or has its own kind of characteristics that actually so, because there are so many and it's interesting to have different different shapes in a small package. So what we have here is first filter. I'm sorry. Yeah. Okay. So it's like a very primitive but very simple Moog type filter transistor ladder model, which has the resonance, and its bit even oscillates at the high resonance. Afterwards, we have diode ladder filter, which is actually modeled after some kind of EMS CTA synthesizers, or like Roland synthesizers also have lots of diode filters, which creates that pretty recognizable acid sound. Afterwards, we have an emulation of a low-pass gate, which is basically emulate digital recreation of low-pass gate, which is like a vectoral filter, and with that vectoral filter we can right now recreate the speed of the vectorals. So each filter has like red and blue buttons, and like 2 parameters. Each filter is defined by 2 parameters. So and here we have the cutoff, how the vectoral is lights up with the LED, and another button defines how fast is the decay of the vectoral, because the vectoral, some of the vectors can be really very slow. Some closing can be up to, I don't know, 2, 3 or 5, even 5 seconds to complete close. And actually it's pretty cool for if you want to emulate some kind of a Buchla Bongo sounds, just like triggering the vectors pinging with short triggers. It's fine, it's cool, but for real play or dynamic play with a keyboard or something like that, so it's impossible, so we lose all the dynamic. And that's why we can just like recreate like how the slow vector is, or how the so to use for the bongos or for like any other things. And we also have our vectoral with the resonance. So we can use the keyboard, and we can also use the iPad as a sequencer, which is pretty cool. Keyboard is fine. It's interesting to get into the notes and play the notes. So we have a small sequencer just from the iPad factory sequence for the app, and we display a very person is looping, and I will switch to the filters just to show different parameters. So we can adjust the decay. Afterwards, I just increase the resonance. low pass. It is actually pretty clean filter, not so many characteristics, but it's stay variable. It's pretty ordinary low pass, high pass, and band pass. Afterwards, we have a set of comb filter. And pretty watery, like everything repeats. The guy goes directly to the mixture. That is our concept, so we just started to use stereo jacks directly to plug headphones or anything else geared to stereo headphones with two pins, with 3 pins. And so I see that right now, so different companies, they do like a left and right inputs and outputs, so we can also have it in the terminal. So we just like use a stereo one for the first channel, and when there is nothing plugged to the second channel, it can also, the right channel can go to the right channel. And so there is also a possibility, there is like a small menu dive-in, but define the volume of each channel, and it's padding. It can go into the right channel or in the left, and we can decide that one. So they can be either tracked.
That's a new thing.
So the output goes directly into the stereo mixture. Stereo mixture we have here, it's a 4-channel stereo mixture, which is like the ideas that we have. Idea is, so we have endless encoders here, and the encoders show the current status or the current volume of the channel. So we can all the time we see when the LED is like a high, light up high, so it means that the volume is pretty high. Yeah, so just can make it a bit louder, and we can make it immediately mute on a click. So when plugging something, we can immediately mute it. Yeah. So, thank you very much. So, this is our endorphins. You can try to test it out. And so this was a short example of how we can just do different types of music. We can just like create kind of like simple pop compositions, and what we actually thinking about doing that in the next time. So just look into that and kind of rhythmic music. However, it's even really very easy just to get from